This is J.P. Beasore, John Beasore. If you know up by Bass Lake, there's Beasore Road, there's Beasore Meadows. That's the same Beasore. Also, up Road 426, there's another Beasore Road. That's where his property used to be up there. That's where the first schoolhouse was before they donated the land and brought it down to town. He is also the one that tracked Charlie Myers after he robbed the stage. He's the one that tracked him. So, but gosh, just the time he must have spent up in the high country just been beautiful back then. Getting up in there, just. But he was the one that tracked him. He's the one that apparently followed the trail to the Myers place, and I'm sure that. Thanks, John, for doing that. But all right.
I have a theory I want to test on you.
Okay.
Do you know what the P stands for? It's his.
Yes, I read it.
It's his mother's maiden name, and it's Potter. And I'm wondering if Potter Ridge has anything to do with.
It could be, because nobody else has any information on Potter's Ridge.
Yeah.
So, and they were here, obviously back then. This is also the earliest date I can find in this section. This is our second oldest section in the cemetery, 1915. So this is after we became Oakhurst. So at this point, we don't know if this was Oak Hill or they were still calling it Fresno Flats Cemetery. We don't know. I've tried and tried and tried with old timers that I know, and that's not something they register to memory. It just was, when they changed the name of the cemetery. So, okay, here we have the Bissets. We happen to have a Bisset here, so she could probably talk about her parents better than I can. Well, what I wanted to mention was they were the first marriage in the little church on the hill. They were the first couple that were married there. And when I heard that, I thought, holy cow. Because it took 43 years of the church being there before they had a marriage. And I was like, what was going on in town? So then I looked through my old family records, because my family was here, and I thought, maybe I could steal that from her. Maybe I could find where my family was. So I found a distant cousin, Ramsden, who was married in Fresno Flats, but it was in 1888, and it was before the church was built. So you still got it.
Yeah, they used to go to Stockton or somewhere to get married. They were at home. They never went.
Right, yeah. So they're the first. They got it. It's hanging on their wall. You've got it. There's there. So this one over here is Legras. Now I've heard people pronounce it Legras, yeah. So I think it's Legras, right?
Yes.
Legras. Okay. Al was a flume tender, and he died in 78, I believe. Yeah, 78. So he was around long enough to tell a lot of stories. And he also donated the section of flume, of the sugar pine flume, that is over at Fresno Flats. So if you want to see what the flume, everybody's talking about it all the time, the size of the flume, they actually have a section there. There's a section up in, before Echo, up there just past Sky Ranch. There was a section of the flume there. And then I stumbled on a section down in Corscold off of Road 400. And I think it might have been Meacham, the real estate person that was in town. He's buried over here. And I think it was at his gate. And I went over there to do some tree. I used to have a tree company up here, and I went over there to do some tree work, and I stumbled on the flume. And I thought, well, I didn't even know that one existed. So there's 3 sections that I know of, but I'm sure when they were cutting it up, people were grabbing them like crazy. I would have at the time.
There's one at the railroad now. I don't know if that one got moved to the railroad.
Maybe it did. Maybe they donated it when he died. That could be. I hope so, because more people will see it there than on a side road in Corscold.
I think it's fairly new, so that could have been what happened.
All right, we're going to work our way down the hill. We're getting close to the end.
I think I've done the